So there was a shooting in Dallas at the protests. 5 cops were killed. And reports are right now that 14 others were wounded. Now, as a black man who feels a lot of anger toward the oppressors, I am tempted to say that they deserved it, and that's what you get. And, you know, there has to be repercussions. And I wouldn't be entirely wrong to say such a thing. But as a man of God, first and foremost, I do not agree with the tactics that were used. Had these people been at Bilderberg or the Round Table Group, I would completely agree with it, and I would commend them. I would publicly declare Micah Johnson a hero. And I would offer money if anyone could prove me wrong. But since he took out some lowly cops, and it is not strategic, it is emotional. You know, when it comes to the tactics, they're emotional tactics. They're reactionary. They're not revolutionary. They're not tactical. Our enemies are the secret societies, and they promote mostly liberal philosophies of Satanism, criminality, LGBT-friendly philosophies, feminism, atheism, and eugenics. There's nothing more racist than eugenics, scientific racism, social biology, biodemography, social Darwinism, eugenics. There is no such thing as positive eugenics when man plays God with the human race. The police have systematically harassed me and stalked me along with mental health. These are the groups that every revolutionary knows team up to run psychological operations on people. For those of you who do not understand what psyops are or psyops, they're psychological operations. Psychologists do these operations because they are indecorous, unethical trash. Military psychologists, contracted psychologists come up with different techniques to extract information out of people, such as waterboarding, and more often than not, they get ideas from ancient torture techniques. It's very sad. It's very sad that these so-called humanists pretend to care about people and saving lives, but their eugenic liberal policies kill 100 million people every year. These are preventable deaths. If we lived in a Christian world, they simply wouldn't happen. Micah Johnson was a trained fighter, unleashing his rage on his opponents. I find it quite odd, but perhaps insignificant, that he specialized in masonry and carpentry. There is no doubt in my mind, after studying secret societies from valid sources for over 20 years, that this thing is a result, a direct cause of secret society manipulation of politics in the media. Secret societies influence this man, but will anyone even think to go on record on mainstream news to hold them responsible? No. Does anyone care that Francis Galton was a Freemason, or that Nathan Bedford Forrest, who started the Ku Klux Klan, was a Freemason? Or that Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a eugenicist and Freemason when he started the OSS? Or that Harry Truman was a Freemason who started the CIA? No. Will they care that Voltaire called Christians that horrible Christian sect? Or that England, the British, in 1833, abolished slavery decades before the Civil War? Does anyone care about the facts that Christians are the good guys? No. no one but us insightful people who know better. Does anyone else notice that the highest form of wisdom is living a righteous life according to the Bible? That materialism, selfishness, shallowness, conformity, cowardice, evilness, and lies, which you find everywhere among liberals and unscrupulous conservatives, definitively shows ignorance. You might be the top rocket scientist, but if you are not a righteous person, when it comes to the most pressing matter, the most important matter, even time-sensitive matter, you have failed. It's like you're given a test in life and you have a bunch of questions that are about, maybe a tenth of the test, and 90% of the test is, are you going to live a righteous life? Do you have the knowledge to understand why you should be a Christian? If you don't pass that, well, guess what? The highest you can get is 10%, if that. You failed. I don't care how smart you think you are. I don't care how much of a complex you have and how much it blinds you and impairs your judgment. You fail. Micah Johnson stood up for his people, and for that I commend him. But he was misled by secret societies, including black secret societies of Prince Hall and Boule Masons. You all know that I'm right. All of you national security people listening to this, you know that I'm right. You know that it overlaps with the military. It was a bunch of military black people who started the Prince Hall Masons, and the Irish brought them in. It's not a coincidence that the Irish had the Irish mob, and the Aryan Brotherhood included some of the founding members were Irish bikers. You all know that I'm right. And at the end of this video, I will show you definitive proof that they are running a psych op on me to shut me up. I have a $3,000 top martial artist challenge going on 3 years. All I see is excuses, men in tights, men in thongs, and tight UFC wrestling pajamas and swimsuits, thongs even, telling me that sparring, which goes back to Benny Hassan, the first depiction of organized martial arts in human history, the first known depiction, was sparring. And then there was sports wrestling and military training wrestling. But the first depiction of a martial art competition that is a clear-cut depiction is sparring. Even if you count the wrestling depictions, they are sparring. You have to separate percussive scales from grappling. If I can hit you first, I can stab you first. If I have a glove on, there's a thin line between that and having a knife in my hand. Knives, sharp objects, shanks, broken bottles, rocks, dexterity, precision, striking. Now, the reason why I bring this up so that none of you are confused. Because America has not found a single person who can beat me, because I am the best, even drugged. They are covertly drugging me. Stay tuned, I will prove that. They are fuming my room. Stay tuned, I will prove that. They are trying to provoke me to get me into the liberal psych ward, where they have a feminist perspective of psychology that they apply to psychiatry, where they have a humanist perspective of psychology which they apply to psychiatry. They do not have a single valid diagnostic test. They kill 500,000 people annually in Western countries alone. They constantly contradict each other with misdiagnosis. They're called shrinks for a reason. They have a long history of eugenics, Dr. Pretty. A long history of unethical experimentations, MK Ultra, Project Bluebird, Monarch, Artichoke. On record. Just Google unethical experimentation in the United States. I'll put the link in the comments. Eugenics and experimentation go hand in hand. It is eugenic philosophies that determine who they experiment on, which vulnerable individuals, just like psychiatry preys on individuals that are hurt, Eugenicists prey on individuals who show a righteous inability to conform or to accept the despicable and demonic policies of America.
So, did that atheist guy really tell you to provoke me to go to the psych ward?
Yes.
Doesn't that seem out of the ordinary?
Kinda.
On our website, kcba.com. New tonight, police call it bullying on steroids. We're talking about gang stalking, but it actually has nothing to do with the gangs that you first think of. Central Coast News reporter Candace Wynn learned more about the trend and how it's getting more dangerous because of the internet.
It makes me feel afraid.
Lawrence Gazzino claims his neighbors are gang stalking him because he plays loud music late at night and is outspoken. He said for the last year and a half, he's been systematically followed by a group of people. At one point, he said they climbed on his roof to harass him. Gazzino said he's developed a paranoia that's devastated his relationships with friends and, worst of all, family.
That's the worst part of it. If it was me, I would take action.
Santa Cruz Police Lieutenant Larry Richards said police are becoming more aware of gang stalking because of cyberbullying. But what is gang stalking?
Basically, the victims could be driving their car or talking on their phones or walking the streets when a group of people try to systematically terrorize them.
Richards said gang stalking is nothing new, but new technology is making it more common.
Gang stalking itself, they have elevated themselves to technology. So this is something that's been going on before the age of Facebook, Twitter, those other social websites. They just now have gone into those areas.
Gazzino said he's proof that the problem isn't just online and that it can hit too close to home, a home he plans on leaving because of gang stalking.
I want to be able to go to the tennis courts and play tennis or play ping pong without people following us everywhere. It's just nerve-wracking.
I'm Candace Wen in Salinas, your Central Coast News.
If found guilty of gang stalking, a person may face criminal, conspiracy, and stalking charges, all of which are felony charges in California.
My chest too, Yaron. I think you should go over this one. Let me see the other one. Oh, this one's a lot better. Maybe you should just run out and take the other room. And keep that room for, I don't know, but don't sleep in there, for God's sakes. Because that room's just horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Something wrong with it. I don't know what it is. I can't see it. It could be some gold hidden under, hidden somewhere. Could be, I don't know. Because whatever it is, it's not smelly.
Alright.
So this is the long-awaited experiment, and basically, she doesn't know which one is. Two or three of these drinks are drugged. She doesn't know which one they are. Obviously, I didn't drug them because this package is not open, right? This package is not open? Can you verify?
It's not open.
Okay. There's writing on it because I kept it in my room for a while and I didn't want them to switch it out, so I put little writing to little something for security measure. All right, it's kind of toward the end of the day. Today's a Thursday. I think it's Thursday, July 7th, 2016. All right, so the person who's been kind enough to volunteer for the experiment is going to open it. She's going to pick one drink of each for herself and one drink of each for me. Remember, these 2 out of 3 of the drinks are drugged, according to me, unless they switched out this while I was gone. And one of them isn't drugged. She doesn't know which one's which, so we proceed. And the reason why I have a filter on is because she didn't want to be on camera. So pick one for me too, so you know it's on the up and up, and I'm not trying to do anything foul. All right. And again, mind you, this one was sealed. She opened it up. Now, there's no sign of it being resealed. Okay, so, all right, now how are we gonna do this? Basically.
Well, actually, sit down.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
All right, so.
Which one do you want?
So let's start with the root beer. Okay. Normally I wouldn't drink this much soda at once, but we got to get to the bottom of this once and for all. Okay. Cheers. And the first sip, do you sense anything out of the ordinary about it?
No.
All right. Neither do I. After we're done, I'll tell you which ones were which. It's too bad they didn't have a fridge, so they're all warm. I guess you know what? Let's just. No, I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted on how to do this part. Whether to actually finish the soda or whether to, you know what? Let's just put it to the side. Screw it. All right. Put the first one to the side after drink as much as you want. Actually, we'll take one more gulp. So you're feeling tired?
Yeah, there's a root beer.
Was it root beer? Yeah. All right. So in between the breaks, what happened? Can you describe?
Okay, right now my stomach is hurting and I'm feeling like a heartburn sensation. And I'm starting to feel sick.
Did you take a nap earlier?
I lay down because I felt sleepy.
And you felt like the drinks might have contributed to it as well?
Maybe not. I'm not sure.
All right.
But I had a drink of this strawberry crush right now, and yeah, I feel sick.
All right. So just to verify, after drinking this one, you do feel sick now, the Strawberry Crush.
Yep.
And this
Strawberry
is
Crush.
This one was the one in my freezer. These two were the ones in my room. That's why they're in the packages still.
Right. Yeah, it's a Strawberry Crush soda.
Can you imagine having your drinks drugged every single day? You know, everywhere you go, pretty much. Can you imagine how much of a toll it would take, how much stress it is, how much your body's taking a toll? Can you imagine going through this every day? Every time you want to drink, and you have to go to different stores to try to throw them off. Man, it's been hard on me, you know, and I've been very mad, you know.
Well, why don't you just not buy sodas at all?
I tried that because I thought about that. I was like, look, if I go to the water place, they'll start drugging the water. You know those places you bring those gallon jugs, they'll start doing, because they also have been doing the water too. All right, so to recap where we're at, we drank a little bit of the A&W.
I am drinking no more.
You drank a little bit.
My stomach hurts.
Yep. Now she wants to tap out. I'm gonna have to let her, obviously, because I'm not putting a gun to anyone's head here. But yeah. Okay. There's one more question. No, I don't want to bother you too much, but I want to get you while you're still feeling it.
Okay.
Imagine trying to do physical exercise, right? Trying to do sports. Trying to say if you try to run a mile.
Oh no, it'll make your stomach just feel more nauseous.
Yeah, just like with MK Ultra, it's like they were looking for drugs to make it impossible to do physical activity. They were looking for drugs to make you act out of the ordinary, discredit you. Mm-hmm. These things have those possible applications, right?
Yep, they do. I never tried a soda, and it made me feel this.
All right, so this is the next day, July 8th, 2016. So have you been around people who are drugged or medicated before?
Yes, I have.
All right.
And yesterday, Chiku looked very drugged, and this morning he looked refreshed, not drugged at all.
Would you say that's kind of consistent with them drugging the drinks and what have you?
From how you looked yesterday, yeah, all definitely.
Right. So I'm not telling you what to say or anything. These are your words, and you know it's all true, right?
Yes.
So if you were to later on change your story, you know,
for any reason, you're telling the truth now and not then, and not later.
I'm telling the truth. Well, it's the truth in what I noticed yesterday from today.
All right. I'm just saying this to cover all the odds. I'm not saying you're gonna do that. I'm just, making sure that the viewers know that this is not staged, that this is actually, your perspective, and with all the other things I've gathered, I have a person on record saying that they were told to provoke me to go to the psych ward. So it's already established that they're trying to get me on drugs. So yeah, well, thank you. That's all I need for now.
July 4th.
And great men who were ridiculed